Chapter 1571, Victory in the Long Run. You must have stacked some cash after all these years, and even your yearly bonuses would add up to 200,000. I'm sure you can have a nice wedding with that money to satisfy your girlfriend. You can't blame your mom for being angry. If his son could handle his matters, there wouldn't be so many problems. His wife was happy about Zhou Ying's return, but his son only ruined the mood. Zhou Zheng's father finally understood how his wife felt. This is it. It doesn't matter what you say as we have made up our minds. Decide on the wedding date and inform the relatives. Other than money, we will do anything to support you and your marriage. They could provide anything but money. Zhou Zheng squeezed out a smile. It didn't matter to him that his parents supported his wedding in every other way, everything was meaningless without money. After knowing that he couldn't get a cent from his parents, Zhou Zheng didn't even have the mood to celebrate his daughter's return. All he was worried about was his girlfriend knowing about his parents' decision. Should he still get married? Dad, Mom, let me drive you to pick Ying Ying up. Dad's eyesight is not good, so it would be dangerous if he drives. I'll be worried if the two of you go alone. The Zhou parents waited until 11 at night, preparing to go to the airport and pick up Zhou Ying. It was evident that they genuinely liked their granddaughter, and it didn't matter that she was a girl. Zhou Zheng stopped them on their way out. His eyes were bloodshot, and Zhou Zheng's mother could see the veins in his eyes. It's fine. You have work tomorrow. We can pick up Ying Ying by ourselves. Don't worry. We will take a taxi. She wouldn't let the old man drive. She wanted to live long enough to watch Zhou Ying grow up, get married, and bring them a great-grandchild. The Zhou family didn't have to worry about money. If Zhou Ying ended up as the only child, they planned to find her a husband that lived in the Zhou family. Then, they wouldn't have to worry about their granddaughter receiving any ill treatment. Given their love for Zhou Ying, the chance of Zhou Zheng's ex-girlfriend winning their favor was dim. Even if she could give birth to a son, the elders might still discriminate against her. The reason would simply be that Zhou Zheng's mom's liking was the top priority of the family. Taxis aren't safe. I've missed Ying Ying too, so let me drive you there. His mother's words didn't fool Zhou Zheng, so he insisted. Qiao Zijin saw the Zhou family picking her up as she exited the airport. For a brief moment, she had the illusion that she was still part of the Zhou family. Of course, her heart was emptied when Zhou Zheng's mother took her daughter from her hands. The only emotions she had for Chen Jun was a fling of intrigue that arose from her desires as a teenager. Chen Jun's family was ordinary, so she didn't quite fancy him. During the 10 years that she lived with the Zhou family, she had a good time as she watched her daughter grow. Qiao Zijin didn't understand how things got to this stage. She couldn't call her in-laws dad and mom anymore as there was an X added to their names. Ying Ying, come home with grandma. Zhou Zheng's mother didn't insult Qiao Zijin. Instead, she was overwhelmed by the joy of reuniting with Zhou Ying. Although the law gave you the right to raise Ying Ying, we are still her grandparents. We will take care of her since you are busy, and we won't let her disrupt your life. Go ahead and do what you have to do. She was hinting Qiao Zijin that the Zhou family would take care of Zhou Ying if Qiao Zijin's new boyfriend didn't want a burden to carry. She didn't even step into her son's second marriage, let alone her ex-in-law. As Qiao Zijin's concern was lifted off her shoulders, she didn't know if she should be elated or upset. Did the Zhou family not think about accepting her and giving Ying Ying a complete family? Qiao Zijin knew that she did have that thought, and knowing that she wasn't welcomed made it more frustrating. Qiao Zijin beamed as she imagined her inevitable victory in the long run. Thank you. I am busy these days as I want to provide Ying Ying a better environment to live in. When I'm done with my work, I will take Ying Ying to the capital. I'm sure she will receive a better education there. I'm sure you will support me, right? Not taking her back into the Zhou family? Fine. When she had dealt with Qiao Nan, she would have everything she ever wanted. Even if the Zhou family begged for her to return, she would not agree to it. If the elders wished to visit Ying Ying, they would have to go to the capital. Zhou Zheng's mother smiled. That sounds great. You are Ying Ying's mother, and we would love it if you can give her a better life. It's getting late. We will head back first. Call us after you've settled things in the capital. We will send Ying Ying to you when the time comes, so don't trouble yourself making your way here. Chapter 1572, You have heard it. Zhou Zheng's father took a glimpse of his wife, wanting to see if she was serious about her words. She loved Ying Ying so much. How could she bear to send Ying Ying away to the capital? It would be difficult to visit her in the future. She didn't look at him and held tight onto the little girl who was still asleep. Zijin, we'll meet again when the time comes. Bye-bye. See you. Zhou Zheng's father nodded to Jiao Zijin and followed behind his wife. He tossed his jacket over his granddaughter before heading back. Throughout the conversation, Zhou Zheng didn't once look at Jiao Zijin, let alone talk to her. He marched forward as if Jiao Zijin was invisible. As a man who was cheated on, Zhou Zheng never wanted to have anything to do with Jiao Zijin anymore. He had never loved Jiao Zijin, but he settled down and treated Jiao Zijin the best he could. However, Jiao Zijin turned out to be the one cheating on him. If it were legal to kill, Jiao Zijin would have been burned to ashes. The Zhou family left without looking back. All they cared about was Zhou Ying, and Jiao Zijin was like a stranger to them. Jiao Zijin stomped her feet. She knew that the Zhou family wasn't as righteous as they acted. Otherwise, they wouldn't have treated her so well all these years. Once she had taken care of Jiao Nan, the Zhou family would realize that she valued more than they could imagine. When the time came, she wanted to see if the Zhou family could still keep their calm. In the middle of the starry night, Jiao Zijin had no choice but to call a taxi to a bus stop before taking a bus home. The worst situation that Jiao Zijin had in mind was to take the Zhou family's car to the Jiao's residence. She even imagined that the Zhou family might take her in and try to revive her marriage with Zhou Zheng. The reality was far from her dreams. And she didn't seem to have any luck. The Zhou family didn't even bother to offer her a ride. They left straight after taking Zhou Ying, and Jiao Zijin didn't even get a chance to say anything. She also knew that mentioning anything that hinted at the Zhou family to give her a ride would make her a laughingstock. If that happened, she could never stand up against the Zhou family again. Someone as prideful as Jiao Zijin would never allow that to happen. Therefore, she changed transportation twice to save the cost and arrived at the Jiao's residence at 1 in the morning. Jiao Zijin's target wasn't the Zhou family. Although she believed that Zhou Zheng must have missed her deep within his heart, she had to deal with Jiao Nan first before coming back to this. When her true value was revealed, the Zhou family would all come running to her again. She could prove to everyone that she was better than Jiao Nan. No matter what position Jiao Nan held, she was the one at the top of the food chain. Jiao Zijin cheered herself up as she fell asleep. Jiao Nan knew about Jiao Zijin leaving the capital. When Jiao Zijin bought a train ticket to the capital, Jiao Nan knew about it as well. The one who relayed the message to her was no one but Zhou Zheng's mother. She knew that Jiao Zijin wanted to control Jiao Nan, but she never once thought that Jiao Zijin would succeed. If Jiao Nan were so easy to defeat, she wouldn't be the minister today. Moreover, if Jiao Zijin were smart enough to defeat Jiao Nan, it would be her who married into the Zai family and Jiao Nan that married into the Zhou family. Everyone could boast, but boasting would never be turned into reality. Therefore, Zhou Zheng's mother stood firmly by Jiao Nan. Just a short call would get her a favor from Jiao Nan, and the Zhou family could live well without Jiao Zijin. From that perspective, the Zhou family did benefit a lot from Jiao Zijin. If it were from her foolish son, it would have been even better. Jiao Zijin cheated on Zhou Zheng and caused the divorce. If Zhou Zheng were depressed after the divorce, the Zai family would have to compensate as they were the ones that introduced Jiao Zijin. Jiao Zijin was out of the family anyway. They might as well make use of her to make a fortune. Unfortunately, her son's intelligence couldn't even compare to his father. He was beyond foolish. The moment he divorced, he started planning the marriage with his ex-girlfriend. It was like he wanted to tell the world that he never had feelings for Qiao Zijin, and he could finally escape her grasp. If Zhou Zheng were happy about the divorce, there would be no reason for the Zai family to give them anything. Zhou Zheng first secured a job thanks to Qiao Zijin and found true love thanks to the divorce. He sure was a lucky man. Zhou Zheng's mother figured that she couldn't stop her son, who was in his 30s, from making his own decisions. If she hadn't spoiled her son, he wouldn't have been so foolish. After all these years, she had finally decided to let go. Zhou Zheng was the one to bear the consequences anyway. He would learn to make wiser choices after experiencing failures. After ending the call with Zhou Zheng's mom, Qiao Nan lay in Zai Sheng's arms. You have heard it. Chapter 1573, The money didn't go to waste. A centipede goes on wriggling even after it is dead. However, regardless of how many legs she has, I'll cut them all off for you. In the face of this sister-in-law, Zai Sheng had directly listed her as the top 3 on his blacklist. No matter what the circumstances, this woman seemed to not learn well and not get taught a proper lesson. Qiao Nan leaned in Zai Sheng's arms and felt especially safe. Even if Qiao Zijin's matter was right in front of her, she didn't feel upset at all. She felt that this wasn't a big deal and it wasn't something that she couldn't resolve. How are you planning to help me cut off all her 100 legs? Simple. We'll start from your parents. With Qiao Dongliang and Ding Jiyi around, Qiao Zijin was Nan Nan's sister. If both of them didn't acknowledge their relationships with Qiao Zijin, then the sister relationship between Qiao Zijin and Nan Nan wouldn't even exist in name. Are they so easy to talk to? Qiao Nan expressed her doubt. My father is irresolute and hesitant. Completely ignoring Qiao Zijin is probably his limit. As for my mother, you know that Qiao Zijin is her precious daughter. She would rather throw me into hell than pull Qiao Zijin down from the clouds. Nothing is absolute. Leave this to me. I'll give you a satisfactory answer a few days later. Zai Sheng was an expert in this. There wasn't a need to draw the boundaries so clearly with Qiao Zijin in the past. However, there was such a need now. Zai Sheng would definitely not go easy on Qiao Zijin. While Qiao Zijin was still on the train and slowly rushing over to the capital, Zai Sheng had already made the first move earlier than her. The first person Zai Sheng looked for wasn't Qiao Dongliang, who seemed to be more biased toward Qiao Nan, but Ding Jiyi, who was the most protective of Qiao Zijin. Ding Jiyi, who was usually arrogant, became fearful when she saw Zai Sheng, even when she knew that the person sitting before her was her own son-in-law. Why are you looking for me? Zai Sheng looked plainly at Ding Jiyi. Don't tell me you don't know Qiao Zijin's plans. Ding Jiyi stuttered. She didn't say if she knew her plans or not, but it could be considered that she had silently agreed to it. You didn't forget the things you have done to Nan Nan in the past, and neither did we. You should know that if not for Nan Nan's status as a minister, based on your previous performance, whereby you had never been a responsible mother and fulfilled the obligation to bring your children up, we would end up going to court. If we really went to court, in the legal sense, it's okay for Nan Nan to ignore you or not give you money. Supporting Ding Jiyi was already their biggest concession. Ding Jiyi still couldn't say a word. However, she knew that what Zai Sheng said was the truth. If Qiao Nan was alright to lose face, she wouldn't have any reason to get Qiao Nan to provide for her. It was the truth that she didn't support Qiao Nan all these years. In order to let Qiao Nan support her, she had already asked Qiao Zijin previously when she started to learn a little law. Even if such things weren't certain, under the coercion of the law, if Qiao Nan really had to give her some money, it would just be 200 or 300 yuan. This number was far from the life that Ding Jiyi wanted. Thankfully, Qiao Nan provided her 1,000 yuan every month as living expenses. This was much higher than the 200 or 300 that Ding Jiyi knew about. When Zai Sheng mentioned this today, Ding Jiyi felt guilty. She didn't understand why Zai Sheng was telling her this at this time. After finishing the premise, Zai Sheng delved into the main topic. You should know clearly in your heart what kind of person Qiao Zijin is. If Nan Nan provides for you, it would be impossible for her to provide for Qiao Zijin and her daughter. If Qiao Zijin doesn't achieve her purpose, you should know what she's capable of doing, right? Ding Jiyi rubbed her hands and didn't want to be involved in this matter. Zijin wanted to rely on Qiao Nan for a good life. She wouldn't help Zijin, but she also didn't want to hinder her. If Zijin had the means to let herself lead a good life without her help, she was happy. Zijin is stubborn and doesn't listen to advice. If she really wants to do something, I can't stop her. Zai Sheng laughed coldly. If you can't stop her, then so be it. If Qiao Zijin kicks up a fuss and infuriates Nan Nan, at most, Nan Nan would just stop working and retire from the ministry. Nan Nan still has income. Based on her capabilities, without the position of the minister, she could even lead a better life than now. Those people who created trouble for her have to be ready that Nan Nan won't be as easy to talk to like before. Relatives should just do their part in the future and keep their ways separate. Did Ding Jiyi really think that she would not be implicated if Qiao Zijin infuriated Nan Nan? If there was no more face to talk about, then there wasn't any need to hide other things. They could just fall out with each other completely. Ding Jiyi understood it now. Due to Qiao Nan's identity as a minister, she had spent a bit of money to provide for a bad mother like her, thus saving her the step to go into litigation. If Qiao Zijin kicked up a fuss, Qiao Nan would no longer stay in the ministry. When that happened, Qiao Nan would have nothing to worry about and could just take revenge if she wanted to. It would be impossible for her to sit at home comfortably and wait for Qiao Nan to send money over to fulfill her duty as a daughter, like now. Qiao Zijin, the troublemaker, was directly related to the damage of her own interests. Ding Jiyi's mood suddenly became different. This matter has nothing to do with me. Nan Nan can't put the blame on me. If Qiao Nan bore grudges, she should take it out on Zijin. Why must she take away her monthly allowance? She didn't kick up a fuss like Zijin did. Even if we don't count this, can we forget about the past? Didn't you do anything sorry to Nan Nan before? Are you really worth Nan Nan spending so much money to provide for you each month? How many mothers do you think are like you? Zai Sheng asked consecutive questions to Ding Jiyi, reminding her of the mistakes she made in the past. Compared to Qiao Zijin, she wasn't that innocent and couldn't be considered to have been implicated. When Ding Jiyi showed an unfair expression and said reprimanding words of Qiao Zijin when Zai Sheng mentioned about her just now, Zai Sheng felt that the money Qiao Nan had spent on Ding Jiyi for the past few years didn't go to waste. It wasn't easy to warm up Ding Jiyi's heart. At least, this could be done with a little money. Chapter 1574, Rarely Polite. It was a pity that although Ding Jiyi was living in the house Qiao Nan rented for her and relying on her money to lead a good life, when there was a conflict between Qiao Nan and Qiao Zijin again, Ding Jiyi still chose to give Qiao Nan up and support Qiao Zijin silently. As such, Zai Sheng felt that there was really nothing else to be said between Qiao Nan and Ding Jiyi in the future. Ding Jiyi turned pale. Then, what should I do? Zijin is really stubborn. She wouldn't stop unless you agree to her conditions. Even if I kneel in front of her, she wouldn't let Nan Nan off because of me, let alone me persuading her. I really have no way to help in this matter. If I do, I definitely would help. When Ding Jiyi heard about this situation in the past, she wanted to look on and see who would win between Qiao Zijin and Qiao Nan. At this moment, she was anxious but had no means to do anything. In front of money, the relationship between mother and daughter might not shake Qiao Zijin's heart at all, let alone the relationship between sisters. So you do know that Qiao Zijin is such a person. I thought you didn't know. Zai Sheng chuckled. Ideas are always thought of by people. Based on your cleverness, I believe that you can think of a solution. Remember this well. Nan Nan only needs to care about the criticism she faces from the society if she is still in that position. Otherwise, based on your relationship with her, it's useless to use the so-called ethical imperative on Nan Nan. Zai Sheng wasn't willing to come up with ideas for Ding Ji. He only told her the situation and got her to think of a solution. Qiao Zijin is already on the train to the capital. You have less than a day. It's up to you to come up with solutions in order to continue leading a life without having to worry about food and clothes. After saying this, Zai Sheng left coldly. Some things needn't be said too thoroughly. Based on Ding Ji's urgent desire to lead a good life, this motivation was strong enough for her to come up with a solution. Ding Ji, who was severely agitated, didn't remember to send Zai Sheng off. There was a buzzing sound in her ears and she couldn't recover herself after a very long time. Her mind was in a mess and she couldn't think of anything. Qiao Zijin wouldn't give up. After returning to Pingcheng and sending her daughter back to the Zhou family, she would definitely return to the capital at the fastest speed. Ding Ji had known this for a long time. This was definite and didn't require any guessing. However, what she didn't expect was that her eldest daughter would ruthlessly make her stumble on her way to seeking wealth and cause her to fall as well. Was there a need to compare who was more important between her daughter and herself? Of course she was more important. However, what method should she use to stop Zijin from creating trouble so that Nan Nan wouldn't be angry and she wouldn't be implicated because of this? After thinking for a long time, Ding Ji made a decision at noon that day. Qiao Nan was a little surprised to receive Ding Ji's call. After listening to Ding Ji's request, Qiao Nan was even more shocked. Are you sure? I'm sure. Can we do this quickly? I want to move out today. She couldn't continue living in this small community. Anyway, she didn't make any good friends here. It wasn't a pity if she really moved away. On the contrary, if she continued to live here, Zijin would impose on her if she wanted to create trouble for Qiao Nan. Who asked Zijin not to have any extra money on her hands? Living in a hotel in the capital was akin to burning money quickly. Ding Ji felt guilty when she thought about how Qiao Zijin had stayed in the house Qiao Nan rented for her to create trouble for Qiao Nan, forcing her to compromise and fulfill her unreasonable demands. This was too unethical. What was different was that once she moved away from this small community, it wouldn't be easy for Zijin to find her again. Without a place to stay, it wouldn't be that easy for Zijin to create trouble for Qiao Nan. The conditions Zijin wanted weren't a simple transaction determined by a single hit of a hammer. As long as Zijin lacked a foothold in the capital whereby nobody gave her any place to stay or food to eat, Zijin would have to rely on herself for everything and use up the few yuan she had. As long as Qiao Nan didn't support Zijin financially, Zijin would be penniless and wouldn't be able to stay in the capital for 3 days, let alone a month. Ding Ji knew it clearly that the biggest source of Qiao Zijin's boldness to create trouble for Qiao Nan was her existence. At this time, for the sake of her life, Ding Ji couldn't afford to stand by the side and watch on silently. Instead, she had to think of ways to prove to Qiao Nan that she was biased toward her and not Qiao Zijin. Qiao Nan must not take back the days where she could enjoy her life. I also wrote a clarification note. Can you help me publish it? Publishing a clarification note required money. If she handed this to Qiao Nan so that she could do it on her behalf, she would be able to save a sum of money. Okay. Qiao Nan was curious as to what important matter Ding Ji had for her to want to publish a note. Thankfully, Qiao Nan was still satisfied with Ding Ji's attitude today. Qiao Nan didn't reject any request that Ding Ji proposed and agreed to all of them. Half an hour later, one of my men will go over to your house. Remember to give your things to him. He will naturally pass them over to me. I'll help you publish this. As for moving house, you just have to pack your own things. Move out today in the same way you moved in back then. Once I find a house, I will inform you immediately. Oh, okay, thank you. Qiao Nan didn't let private matters interfere with public duty. Once she spoke with her in a superior tone, Ding Jiyi's attitude immediately softened. After all, she had become a minister. Her tone of speech now was different from before. In the past, Xiao Nan would only lower her head and talk to her fearfully. Now, Xiao Nan wasn't even standing before her. Both of them were separated by the phone and Xiao Nan's tone wasn't harsh. However, Ding Jiyi, who had always been fearless in front of Xiao Nan, actually felt an inexplicable sense of guilt overwhelming her. She had no choice but to answer Xiao Nan's words carefully and didn't even dare to speak a little louder. "I'll wait for your man then. I have nothing else and won't disturb your work. Goodbye." After letting her know what she wanted to do, Ding Jiyi didn't dare to take up any more of Xiao Nan's time in office. She hung up the call first, and it was rare for her tone to be so polite. Chapter 1575, A Moment of Foolishness. Xiao Nan was now taking care of Ding Jiyi's needs. In front of Xiao Nan, it was difficult for Ding Jiyi not to behave herself. Who asked her to be reckless when she was young? She would feel guilty upon seeing Xiao Nan now and couldn't be self-confident. After hanging up Ding Jiyi's call, Xiao Nan raised her eyebrow. Brother Zai mentioned that he would take care of it. He really did take care of it. The biggest connection between her and Xiao Zaijin was that they were born to the same pair of parents. With her father and Ding Jiyi around, she and Xiao Zaijin would be sisters. If these two people weren't around, the so-called sister relationship she had with Xiao Zaijin would depend on the situation. Ding Jiyi's side was settled. That was to say that her father's side would have a result soon as well. As expected, not too long after receiving Ding Jiyi's call, Xiao Dongliang gave her a call as well. The contents of their conversation were about the same. Both of them wanted to publish a clarification note to remove their parent-daughter relationship. From then on, Xiao Zaijin would no longer be a member of their Xiao family. As an adult, although it wouldn't be recognized by law that Xiao Dongliang and Ding Jiyi had cut off all ties with Xiao Zaijin, it would still have some form of influence in terms of human relations. Moreover, both of them had already fulfilled their duty of support for Xiao Zaijin. To them, this clarification note didn't violate any laws. How would Xiao Zaijin have guessed that things had changed so massively when she arrived at the capital again? The weather in September was terribly hot. The moment she got off the train, Xiao Zaijin felt as if she had been scooped up from the water. Thankfully, she was in good health and didn't feel faint from the heat. Otherwise, under such circumstances, it was highly possible for her to suffer a heat stroke. After squeezing the wet towel in her hands and looking at the water being squeezed out, Xiao Zaijin's eyes turned red. All of these were her sweat. After wringing the towel dry, Xiao Zaijin continued to wipe her face with it. Xiao Zaijin couldn't remember how many years it had been since she had to rely on a towel to cool down and wipe off the sweat on such a hot day. However, on the train, it was really the most economical way for her to use a towel to wipe her face. Who asked her not to have any money? However, that was fine. She would be rich soon. Once she was rich, she would no longer take the train but only the plane. She wouldn't have to suffer on such hot days anymore. Even if she was taking a car, the car would be air-conditioned. Xiao Zaijin, who was brimming with confidence, shook her hands and strode forward. She was prepared to find Ding Jiyi first. She couldn't see Xiao Nan in such a sorry state. She had to take a shower, change her clothes, and do her makeup beautifully first before meeting Xiao Nan. Xiao Zaijin was still quite confident at this point. When working in the ministry, Xiao Nan had to wear formal clothing more often. The tailor makes the man. Xiao Zaijin's looks couldn't be compared to Xiao Nan's. As such, she had to spend more effort dressing up so that Xiao Nan wouldn't surpass her. On what basis are you not letting me in? My mother lives in this community. A few days ago, I returned to my hometown. I was gone for less than 5 days and now you don't recognize me anymore. Before Xiao Zaijin could enter the community Ding Jiyi lived in, she was stopped by the security officer. The weather is so hot. Get lost quickly. I'm in a hurry to go home. If it wasn't that she had only lived in this community for a few days and wasn't familiar with the people around here, she would have already quarreled with the security officer. Who dared to stand in her way? I'm sorry, but you're not a resident of this community. If you want to enter, you have to register first. Please cooperate with us. The security officer's temper was good. He didn't become fierce toward Qiao Zijin just because she was throwing a tantrum. As long as Qiao Zijin left behind her basic information and fulfilled their work requirements, she could still enter the community. Qiao Zijin had no choice and rolled her eyes. After registering, she stepped on her high heels and walked in. After Qiao Zijin knocked on the door for a long time, she finally knew from the neighbors that a group of people had helped Ding Jiyi move house that afternoon. Ding Jiyi had already moved out. As to where Ding Jiyi moved to after leaving this community, they didn't know as it was none of their business. Moved out? Where to? Why did she move out without an apparent reason? Impossible. This is impossible. How would her mother not let her know in advance that she was moving out? Her mother should know that she would definitely return to the capital in the shortest time possible to negotiate with Jiao Nan. She should also know that she didn't know anyone else in the capital. Before Jiao Nan agreed to all her requests, she could only rely on her mother and stay with her here. Her mother obviously knew about everything. How could she just move out without saying a word to her? Now that she had moved out, what was she going to do next? Where would she stay tonight? No. It was a definite no. Upon thinking that she was running out of money, Qiao Zijin became more panicked. She had lived to her 30s, but this was the first time she had encountered such a situation. She was extremely panicked. She didn't want to sleep on the bridge. Aside from Ding Jiyi, the only other person she could find now was naturally Qiao Nan, who was about to be extorted by her. As such, after Qiao Nan got off work and returned to the quad, she saw a pitiful-looking Qiao Zijin at the gate, as if she had been abandoned by the world. The Qiao Zijin now was really in an unprecedented sorry state. The clothes she wore were crumpled. It was obvious that she didn't manage to change out of the clothes which had dried up from the sweat. Qiao Zijin loved to look pretty. Not only did she like to grow her hair long, but she even liked to curl and dye it. At this moment, Qiao Zijin's hair looked greasy and clumpy. Upon seeing such a Qiao Zijin, Qiao Nan thought of her previous life where she had to run around under the sun in summer to raise medical expenses to treat her uremia. An hour before her death, she should look sorrier than how Qiao Zijin was now. Qiao Nan shook her head. She honked the horn to get Qiao Zijin's attention. Qiao Zijin looked up and recognized Qiao Nan's car at once. She immediately turned from a pitiful stray dog that was abandoned by the roadside to a wolf dog with rabies. She bared her teeth and pounced toward Qiao Nan, letting out a bang. Qiao Nan twitched her lips. Her car was made of steel. Was Qiao Zijin trying to compete with her car to see who was tougher? Qiao Zijin was too impulsive to have made that pounce and couldn't hold back that moment of foolishness. Chapter 1576, No Way to Compete. The truth was, Qiao Zijin regretted it the moment her body collided with the car. She was in so much pain that her facial features were contorted. Qiao Nan, get down. Tell me. Are you playing tricks? Where's my mother? Where did she go? Dad as well. I want to know where they are staying now. After sitting at the gate of the quad for a long time, Qiao Zijin felt that it wasn't a coincidence that her mother would suddenly move out. This meant that someone was playing tricks. Apart from Qiao Nan, Qiao Zijin couldn't think of a second person who would do that. Since Qiao Nan had done this, she would definitely know where her parents were. She had to find them quickly. Otherwise, she might not even have a place to stay tonight. Qiao Nan rolled down the car windows. Mom guessed that you would find her, thus she moved out. As a child, I think that I should respect Mom's wishes. Of course, I know you won't believe it. You can contact Mom on this number. Go and ask her yourself if you have any questions. Jiao Nan placed the number she had prepared beforehand into Jiao Zijin's hands. Then, she loosened the clutch, stepped on the accelerator, and slowly drove into the quad. Jiao Zijin wanted to enter as well, but it was a pity that she was immediately stopped by the guards. Jiao Zijin stomped her feet. She took the paper with the number and made a call. Hello? Mom? Why didn't you tell me that you moved out? Where are you staying now? I'll go to find you. Stop looking for me. I'm living in a house rented by Jiao Nan. It's not suitable for you to stay. I'm Jiao Nan's mother, thus she has to provide for me. You're just Jiao Nan's sister. She's not obliged to provide for you. Mom, did Jiao Nan teach you these words? It's the same regardless of how many people are living in the house. I'm living in your house and not Jiao Nan's house. How is it that she's providing for me? I'm staying at my mother's house. This has nothing to do with her. Mom, don't be fooled by Jiao Nan. Where are you? I'm about to die from the heat. I'm tired, sleepy, and hungry. Mom, I miss you. Ding Jiyi felt that Jiao Zijin's words seemed to make sense but also seemed not to make sense. No, don't look for me in the future. I won't tell you where I'm staying now. Zijin, I've raised you up. I've stopped expecting you to provide for the old me. You have never thought about providing for me and long wanted to push me to Jiao Nan, right? Isn't this just right now? I can promise you that whatever happens in the future, I will definitely not look for you or ask you for money. You just have to lead your life in the future. You don't have to worry about me at all. She should have already played her part as a parent. She raised Jiao Zijin up and didn't require her to provide for her. How much heart and money had she saved for Jiao Zijin? Moreover, Zijin, let me tell you something. When you're free, go and take a look at the newspapers in the capital from the past few days. Zijin, don't blame me. As your mother, I've really done enough for you. After saying this, Ding Jiyi hung up the call. For her eldest daughter, she had completely offended her youngest daughter. Because of that little blood relationship, her youngest daughter didn't completely abandon her and ignore her. However, whenever they met face to face or talked over the phone, Ding Jiyi could feel that in Jiao Nan's eyes, she was no longer the mother who had raised her up. None of her daughters were close to her. She thought of how she was living and eating well now. However, she lived alone in such a big house. When she was feeling lonely, there was no one for her to talk to. Ding Jiyi felt sour in her heart. Old Jiao was really not going to forgive her and reconcile with her. Even if it was just to live with her and not remarry her, old Jiao didn't agree to this. He wasn't even willing to see her. Back then, she was worried that Zijin would be too close to old Jiao and not close with her. After she grew up, she would only listen to old Jiao's words and not hers. That was why she taught Zijin all those nonsensical stuff. However, when Zijin was really working against old Jiao, she did help old Jiao put in a good word in front of Zijin. It was Zijin who had grown up to be as such. How could old Jiao put all the blame and responsibility on her? Jiao Nan as well. 5 fingers were not of the same length. In a family with more than one child, which parent wouldn't be biased toward one of them? Everyone went through such times. Why was it that when it came to Jiao Nan, it looked as if she was the one who had done something sorry to her? It was obvious that Jiao Nan wasn't magnanimous enough and she was too calculative. In the end, didn't Jiao Nan continue her studies and even graduated from university? No one understood the bitterness and heart of a benevolent mother. Ding Jiyi felt depressed that these negative emotions couldn't be dispelled. If Jiao Nan were like other children and listened to her words, then their family of 4 would definitely be leading a good life. Everyone would be talking and laughing happily when having a meal together. They would be living in a good house with good financial conditions. What a blessing that would be! However, such a happy family was destroyed by the petty Qiao Nan. Until now, she still couldn't like such an inconsiderate and insensible daughter. Qiao Nan's temper was too bad. Ding Jiyi felt unhappy in her heart that she couldn't meet Jiao Zijin and even had to publish a clarification note that she had cut off all ties with her. Ding Jiyi, who was in a bad mood, started to scold Qiao Nan vigorously. She felt that the person who had caused everything today and destroyed a happy family was Qiao Nan. She was the Qiao family's biggest source of trouble. Back then, she really shouldn't have given birth to a second child. Qiao Nan didn't know about Ding Jiyi's thoughts. However, even if she did know, she was already used to it. The problem was that after knowing, she would definitely not let Ding Jiyi lead such a good life anymore. Peng Yu, are you sure you want to do this? Father Peng had on a pained expression. After having a grandson, he was no longer that ambitious. Now, he just wanted to spend his remaining days happily. Father Peng had given up on all his career ambitions completely. Zai Sheng and Zai Yaowai were part of a lineal descent through the ages. When old Master Zai was still alive, he was formidable. His son and grandson were formidable as well. He had inadvertently met Zai Sheng's two sons twice. Both of them were outstanding. He heard that they were now in junior high school and their grades were good. They could speak a few foreign languages and were bold. From afar, the two boys from the Zai family started to look manly. Chapter 1577, Let Someone Else Do It. These two children were so outstanding. As a grandfather, Father Peng simply couldn't say anything against his conscience. Father Peng knew that if his grandson grew up in the future to be similar to Zai Yaowai's grandson, he would definitely be satisfied. You can't make a comeback anymore. When Zai Sheng became the chief back then, you might still be able to pull him down with some effort. A few years have passed since then. Zai Sheng made great achievements and his position as the chief is now stable. You can't pull him down anymore. It could be said that before old Master Zai's generation, the Zai family were still bumpkins. However, ever since old Master Zai joined the army to fight against the Japanese, the Zai family became different. For 3 consecutive generations, the Zai family had the blood of soldiers flowing in their bones. From a group of good-for-nothing bumpkins, they had turned into a respectable family of soldiers. The Zai family's heritage was what their Peng family lacked. They lost not at the starting line but because of their ancestors. Their ancestors had already passed away. Could they possibly pull them out and ask why they weren't as capable as old Master Zai when they were still alive so that the generations after them could be successful? It was unrealistic. So be it if I can't pull him down. How do I say this? After knowing that I have no ways to pull him down, there are a lot of things that I can't do and I feel that my life's so empty. If I have nothing to do, I'll just create some trouble for Zai Sheng and give him some obstacles. When I see Zai Sheng being busy and in a bad mood, I will be in a good mood. Peng Yu's smile looked a little perverted and Father Peng was shocked. Father Peng patted his chest. He decided that he would have to bring up his grandson. He couldn't let his son do so. Peng Yu, are you okay? Why do I feel that you're a little weird? I heard that when young people are stressed nowadays, the string in their heads would become tight and something would go wrong. Why don't you have a chat with those psychologists? Just treat it as a chat to release your stress. Dad, do you think that I have mental issues? Father Peng laughed bitterly. Don't refuse to consult the doctor. The economy is developing and the pace of life is too fast now. This is already a common phenomenon. It's not something extraordinary. Everyone has illnesses. Is it wrong to see a doctor if one's ill? I've said it before that you can just treat it as a means to release your stress. I don't mean anything else. Indeed, Peng Yu had gotten himself into a dead end and could no longer come out of it. If he had known this earlier, he wouldn't have used Zai Sheng as an example to educate his son when Peng Yu was young. One's son was the best. No matter how outstanding Zai Sheng was, he had no feelings for him. Peng Yu held his father's hand. "Dad, don't worry. I'm fine. It's purely because of boredom that I'm creating trouble for Zai Sheng. If something was really wrong with me, I would have visited the doctor a long time ago. The longer I live, the more I can see Zai Sheng being unhappy. See? Didn't the person who is out to make the Zai family unhappy just come knocking on the door? It was absolutely right for Zai Sheng to have married Qiao Nan. However, who would have expected that there would be such a nasty family behind the outstanding Qiao Nan? Indeed, no one was perfect. God was still fair. He couldn't start something from the Zai family. It was rare for Qiao Nan's side to have an opportunity. How could Peng Yu just hold it in and watch on? He would definitely make use of Qiao Zijin to start a conflict with the Zai family. When Qiao Zijin had nowhere to go, Peng Yu sent someone to appear in front of her. It was as sacred as the appearance of a savior to lead Qiao Zijin out of the confusing mist. What happened afterwards seemed to be uncontrollable. With Peng Yu's help, Qiao Zijin successfully contacted a media reporter. Regardless if it was taught by Peng Yu or Qiao Zijin had said it according to her own heart, it caused an uproar immediately when the media began to report on Qiao Nan's family affairs. Even if Qiao Nan had become the Minister of Foreign Affairs, she would definitely not appear in front of the camera unless it was for necessary activities. However, after the trouble Qiao Zijin created, Qiao Nan was like a celebrity in a TV drama. There would be a lot of people gathered nearby the places where she might appear, wanting to interview Qiao Nan. A few regular newspapers didn't dare to report indiscriminately. The reporters were obliged to tell everyone the truth about the matter, and everyone had the right to know. However, before fulfilling this point, the biggest premise was that their reports must be true and there should be nothing false. After all, Qiao Nan belonged to the ministry. Once there was any untrue reporting on this matter, the consequences were equivalent to framing the ministry and legal action would be taken. Before investigating clearly or confirming the truth, it was clear that the regular media didn't dare to report indiscriminately. It was just that although the regular media didn't dare to do so, the smaller-scale media would do anything to put themselves out and gain recognition. As the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Qiao Nan was on the headlines for both People's Daily and entertainment magazines. One could neither laugh nor cry at such a situation. A certain minister made it to the top and refused to acknowledge her poor relatives. After attaining great success, a certain minister abandoned her birth sister by the roadside. The woman who stayed on the bridge today was actually a certain minister's sister. A certain minister forgot her roots and forced her relatives with authority, shamelessly controlling her birth parents. Articles of malicious attacks followed one after another. Even if the reports didn't state Qiao Nan's name, who in the capital wouldn't know that this certain minister was referring to the female minister from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs? Most importantly, the photos published in these reports were of Qiao Zijin in a miserable state, without Qiao Nan. However, no mosaic treatment was applied to Qiao Zijin's face at all. It was a magnified and clear photo, as if afraid that others couldn't recognize her. In the photo, Qiao Zijin looked pitiful and haggard. Her clothes were dirty and crumpled, and her hair was greasy. Even though people were just seeing Qiao Zijin through a photo, they could easily detect the heavy sweat smell on her body. In order to prove that their reports were true, there were 1 or 2 photos of Qiao Zijin sleeping pitifully under the bridge. With these reports, a number of keyboard warriors ranted their thoughts, including reason sides with the weak and take revenge against the high-ranking and rich officials. They criticized Qiao Nan for being cold-blooded and heartless. How could people count on a person like her who didn't even care about her birth sister to put the country and the citizens first in her heart? One felt fearful at the thought of letting such a heartless person occupy an important position in the country. Could it be that they couldn't find a person who was as capable as Qiao Nan but had a higher sense of righteousness and affection to take on the role of the Minister of Foreign Affairs in their big country? Chapter 1578, See it for yourself. They didn't believe it. The articles on Qiao Nan's family background did prove that there was a sudden surge in her status. Not only was Jiaonan the minister of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, but her husband was also a chief in the military who held a supreme position. Having such a powerful husband meant that Jiaonan could likely become a minister regardless of her capabilities. The keyboard warriors were not afraid of Jiaonan's background at all. Instead, they became more driven to seek justice for Qiao Zijin. Did Jiaonan have the right to cut ties with her blood-bound sister after marrying into a superior family? The citizens of this country wouldn't allow her to stay in power. Some platforms were crashing under the enormous number of comments, and forums once empty were now filled with remarks. The hike of fame was delightful to watch to some behind the screens. Li Daoyi's new hobby was reading the comments that attacked Jiaonan. When he saw ones that said Jiaonan should be taken off her role, Li Daoyi had the urge to leave a like for the comments. Luckily for him, he wasn't rash enough to forget that there were people monitoring the network. The moment he liked a comment, everyone in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs would hear about it within a minute. There were enough people involved in the mess, and he felt that he had to stay under that radar. Most importantly, Li Daoyi knew that someone would have to replace Jiaonan if she did get demoted. Who would that be? Li Daoyi sure hoped that that person would be him, but he knew his limitations. Unless Jiaonan was willing to help, the Li family wouldn't have the power to make him the minister. Getting Jiaonan to help him would not be a simple task, for Jiaonan had never liked him or given him a chance to prove himself. His performance in the department was even worse than the newcomers. Under such circumstances, taking the seat of the minister would be a fat hope. The new minister would still have to excel in his work if Jiaonan were to be replaced, and Li Daoyi didn't have what it took. Tisk, Li Daoyi didn't want to miss such a perfect opportunity. How could he win Jiaonan over and take the seat that he had always dreamed of? Before he could figure out a solution, Li Daoyi realized something. There was a strange look in everyone's eyes. The newcomers didn't even bother hiding their disdain as they avoided him. Li Daoyi had decided to make friends with the other members before working on Jiaonan, but it seemed like his plan was denied. Hey, what's wrong? Why do I feel that everyone has been looking at me weirdly? Unable to contain his curiosity, Li Daoyi dragged a nice guy into the washroom. After asking, Li Daoyi felt the butterflies. Could it be that someone had nominated him for the next minister? Was that why they were acting strange? If that were the case, why did he not receive any news? Or did someone want to give him a surprise? Be honest with me. I am mentally prepared for it. We have been working together all these years, and I won't forget about merits. If he were the minister, he wouldn't be as heartless as Jiaonan. For those who took his side now, he would remember the favor. The guy laughed. He found Li Daoyi pretty hilarious. Do you really want to know the reason that we've been acting strange? Yes. Of course, he did. He wanted to know it as soon as possible. The guy gave him a forum's title. Search it for yourself. He left after dropping a few words, feeling that he had done enough. What's wrong with the forums? Li Daoyi was disappointed that his imaginations didn't come true. Since there was a lead, Li Daoyi quickly took a look at the post on the forum. Soon, his once beaming cheeks sank with every word that he read. The post spoke about his ambitions, but he had no idea about the post's existence. Although the post did speak his mind, he wasn't the one who posted it. Jiaonan was already in a whole lot of trouble, and even if he wanted to kick her when she's down, he wouldn't pick such bad timing. He knew very well that doing it would bring himself down with her. Li Daoyi was flustered as he rushed to Jiaonan. Minister Qiao, I want to clarify something with you. If you misunderstand me, I might not be able to sleep tonight. There is a post going around, and I swear that I have nothing to do with it. However, to those in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, it was obviously Li Daoyi who made a move. Chapter 1579, Being a Scapegoat. Aside from Li Daoyi, no one else in the ministry would have such thoughts and perspectives and give another kick to Jiaonan at such sensitive times. However, Li Dai himself knew that he didn't do this. He wasn't willing to be a scapegoat. Jiaonan closed the information so that Li Dai couldn't see anything. After hearing Li Dai's explanation, Jiaonan didn't have a particularly big reaction. Is that so? I understand the situation now. Go back and do your work. It was apparent that Jiaonan didn't believe his words. How was Li Dai willing to return to work? If he didn't explain this matter clearly, he wouldn't even have a 10% chance of being promoted without Jiaonan's help. Minister Qiao, I'm speaking the truth. I was framed. I didn't send that post. Minister Qiao, you have to believe me. I'll find someone to prove my innocence. The IP address will be enough to prove everything. This matter has nothing to do with me. The more Li Dai said, the more agitated he was. His voice became sharper uncontrollably. Li Dai was too anxious when entering Jiaonan's office and didn't close her office door properly. Once Li Dai raised his voice, everyone outside could hear his words clearly. A few people revealed sarcastic looks. Did he treat them and Minister Qiao as fools? How would other people know about their affairs in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs? Li Dai was probably the only one who believed that he had nothing to do with the post. Even the blind could tell that Li Dai was the author of the post who had described everything. IP? What was an IP address? Couldn't Li Dai go to an internet cafe outside to post this? If that was the case, then the IP address of the post would be different from the IP address of Li Dai's home. Although they weren't experts in IP addresses, they still understood this basic knowledge. Don't bully them for studying too much. Okay, I get it. You can go out now. Jiaonan still didn't have any big reaction. She didn't say that she believed Li Dai. And neither did she say that she didn't believe Li Dai. Jiaonan wasn't willing to give him a heartfelt remark. Li Dai had butterflies in his stomach. How was he willing to leave? Minister Qiao, tell me. How do you want me to prove it to you before you deem me as innocent and that the post has nothing to do with me? It wasn't easy for Jiaonan to run into such big trouble. He definitely couldn't let any problems occur at his end. He was in his 30s, slightly older than Jiaonan. If Jiaonan stepped down now and he couldn't step up, he probably wouldn't have such a chance in the future anymore. He could only sit at his little desk and be unknown for life until his retirement. You don't have to prove anything. Jiaonan put down the pen in her hands. No matter how you prove it, you can't remove yourself from this matter and claim your innocence. It was set that Li Dai was involved. Why? He really didn't do it. On what basis should he be the scapegoat? This has nothing to do with me. If I did this, I would have admitted to it long ago. I really didn't do this. Li Dai felt like crying. Forget it if he really did it. However, he didn't. That was why he felt depressed and pained. He was being wronged to death. Since Li Dai insisted on an answer, Jiaonan gave him an answer. Why? Let me ask you. Why would outsiders know so clearly about what is going on in the ministry? Who exposed these little matters in the ministry to outsiders? If it's not you, could it be me? The description of that post was based on your role. People generally wouldn't have such thoughts and feel that I was suppressing them. These should have been said by you, right? Perhaps the author of this post was really not Li Dai. However, it was afraid that someone had moved Li Dai's real thoughts into the post. If Li Dai didn't tell others his inner thoughts, how would others have known? Li Dai's face turned pale. The moment he saw the contents of the post, he already had a hunch. It should be that he had been complaining to his friend when he felt that he was receiving unfair treatment, and the other party had remembered his words. That person then posted such a post in his capacity during such sensitive times. I I complained a little to Su Xinming before when we were drinking. I feel that the main content of the post is Su Xinming's inner thoughts. Li Dayi didn't dare to casually badmouth Xiao Nan. He was afraid that he would be blacklisted. However, there was one person he wasn't afraid of being betrayed by, and that was Su Xinming. Xiao Nan had personally transferred Su Xinming out. Compared to Li Dayi, Su Xinming bore a bigger grudge against Xiao Nan. Li Dayi knew that if Xiao Nan was doing well, Su Xinming would have stronger emotions than him. What Li Dayi didn't expect was that Su Xinming would frame Xiao Nan at this time not by posting his own affairs but by betraying him. Indeed, there was Su Xinming's shadow on that post. However, he was very careful and only a small proportion of the content was his own inner thoughts. Everyone would just focus on Li Dayi and see his affairs as the main content. Li Dayi sniffed. He felt very wronged at this moment. Can the blame be put on me? He was just used by Su Xinming. Su Xinming had used his affairs to deal with Xiao Nan. If I don't blame you, should I blame myself? Xiao Nan wrapped her arms around her chest. I'm not the one who has such a deep friendship with Su Xinming that we could talk about anything under the sky and badmouth our superior behind her back. Su Xinming did this, but you should understand that your friendship with him had provided him this chance. You were framed by Su Xinming. Who should you blame if not yourself? Su Xinming left the ministry early. There were a lot of situations in the ministry he couldn't intervene in. If not for Li Dayi providing Su Xinming so many details, would the post written by Su Xinming be so deeply rooted among the people? Li Dayi was responsible for this post as well. We have already finished talking. Go out. Li Dayi should be prepared for some things as well. She would definitely not let a person like Li Dayi who dared to bite his superior behind her back to continue staying in the ministry. The Li family didn't have any face for Li Dayi to continue staying either. As to which department Li Dayi would go to after leaving the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to harm the next supervisor or minister, Xiao Nan expressed that she wouldn't care. Anyway, the central government should know how she had taught him a lesson. Everyone should know clearly in their hearts how to treat Li Dayi in the future. Chapter 1580, The Man's Turn. Being ambitious and waiting to rise up in position was typical of men. Almost 9.5 out of 10 would have such ideas. But one had to have his own limits as to when to do such things. Anyone who accepted a subordinate like Li Dayi, who would add fuel to the fire, had to be bold and daring. Li Dayi was adamant. He felt that it was because of this post that things had once again spiraled out of his control. In the past, Li Dayi had treated Su Xinming as his best friend. Now, Li Dayi hated Su Xinming from the bottom of his heart. Unable to tolerate it any longer, Li Dayi ran directly to the isolated warehouse to find Su Xinming. Su Xinming, you've gone overboard. I'm not holding you back from taking Xiao Nan down, but it's enough to talk about your own matters. Why did you implicate me as well? Do you still think of me as a friend? Su Xinming leaned back with his legs crossed like a gangster. He did not give off a serious or strict air typical of a government employee. Rather, he resembled a hooligan. Hey, you're here. Do you want to see the latest posts on this forum? They're so interesting. Look at this and this and this. They're all scolding Xiao Nan. Brother, don't be angry. I did that to get revenge for the both of us. Unlike Li Dayi who was in a rage, Su Xinming was elated. He browsed the forum in a relaxed manner, just like watching a movie in the cinema. From time to time, he popped a snack into his mouth. To get revenge for me? You said it wrongly, didn't you? Your main aim was to get revenge for yourself, and you smeared my name in the process. Don't call me your brother. Do you think that's what a brother should do? Thinking about how the people in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs looked at him, and looking once again at Su Xinming's relaxed appearance, Li Dayi punched Su Xinming in the face angrily. Su Xinming had not seen that coming, and Li Dayi's punch sent him straight down from the chair to the floor with a loud thud. He clenched his jaw in pain. Li Dayi, are you crazy? You're hitting me for helping you? Don't push your limits. You'll get your retribution for kicking me away now that I've outlived my usefulness. Retribution? I'll let you get your retribution. Your retribution. Men in their 30s were no less impulsive than 17 or 18-year-old teenagers. Li Dayi typically never fought with anyone, but today, he had used all his might to punch his brother, Su Xinming. I'll let you hurt me. I'll let you hurt me right now. Did he really take him for a fool? Was he going to believe the words that he said? He wanted to be the Minister of Foreign Affairs, but so did Su Xinming. When the both of them had first entered the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, they had joined forces because Jiaonan and Deng Wenchang were their common enemies. As such, they banded together in an attempt to defeat Jiaonan and Deng Wenchang so as to achieve their own goals. Afterward, Su Xinming had been transferred to the warehouse, and Su Xinming hated the guts of Jiaonan and He Yi. He had always been suppressed by Jiaonan and had never had any opportunities to prove his capabilities. Not only that, but he had also been scolded by Jiaonan, who said that he could not even compare to the newbies who had entered the Ministry of Foreign Affairs even later than he did. An enemy's enemy naturally became his friend. Without Jiaonan as a common enemy, he would have fallen out with Su Xinming sooner rather than later. When Su Xinming was transferred to the warehouse, it was as though he had been exiled. Even if more than 10 ministers of foreign affairs had left their positions due to various reasons, Su Xinming would never get a chance to rise to that position. But he was different. There would come a day when that position would be his. As long as he gained the favor of Jiaonan at such a critical time, he would definitely have a chance of getting into that position. But now that Su Xinming had kicked up a huge fuss, whatever chances he had were now all gone. It would be good if Jiaonan did not kick him out of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs before she left her the ministry. That alone would be being kind and soft-hearted, rewarding his evil deeds with kindness. But having interacted with Jiaonan over the years, he had never felt that Jiaonan would be soft-hearted just because she was a woman. Thinking of the prospect of being kicked out of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs just like Su Xinming, Li Dayi was ready to kill Su Xinming. Su Xinming groaned before immediately rebutting. Li Dayi, I'm respecting you by calling you my brother. Do you really think you're my brother? Who are you to punch me? Aren't you the one who always comforts me by saying that people who are talented will always be noticed no matter where they are? Since our relationship is so good, won't it be good for us to work together? Then, we can really be best buddies. This time, Su Xinming and Li Dayi were really fighting each other head to head. Li Dayi always comforted Su Xinming with an air of superiority, and there was always a hint of ridicule in his comfort. Su Xinming was not so foolish as to not know about that. Su Xinming had laid low up until now and took this chance to kill two birds with one stone, taking down both Jiaonan and Li Dayi at the same time. These two people proclaimed that they were each other's bosom buddies, but in fact, they held bad blood against each other. Other than when they came together to scold Jiaonan. These two people never had a sincere word for each other. They were truly birds of the same feather. Su Xinming's injury on his face was a little serious, and Li Dayi could not help but rejoice a little. Li Dayi wiped away the blood at the corner of his mouth and smirked. Su Xinming, I really underestimated you. Now that you've done this to me, just wait and see what'll happen to you. If I don't get my revenge, I'm not a Li. This time, the stakes were higher than ever. Bring it on. Su Xinming's lips twitched in pain. Do you think I'm afraid of you? I'm no coward. I'll wait for you to settle this once and for all. Ha, who did he think he was? Did Li Dayi really think that he would be afraid of him? Bring it on. The one who backed down was a coward. The two of them, who had once been best brothers, now turned against each other. This was a fight between life and death. Although Su Xinming had taken a hit, he was still in a very good mood. He wanted to see how Li Dai could maintain his air of superiority and continue looking down on him once Li Dai himself was kicked out of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and banished to a corner, like the warehouse. Nan Nan, is there anything wrong? It was noisy outside, but it was still considered quiet in the Zai family's house, which was situated in the quad of the military zone. Those who lived in the quad were not the kind of people who blindly followed others, unless they had the same ideas as the Peng family. Everyone was clear that someone had their eyes on Xiao Nan and was looking to bring her down. As such, sensible people would naturally not join in on this fuss, and the quad was quiet. But the Zai family did not let their guards down, especially Miao Jing, who treated Xiao Nan as her own daughter. She was just shy of calling Xiao Nan every minute to report the situation at her station. If there's any trouble, don't just swallow it. Zai Sheng and old Zai should be the ones fighting for you. You're part of our family, and I'll not let anyone bully you.